now that I've added the tarp in 2022, the cost to build a chicken tractor. Welcome back to another Lazy H Ranch video. Today, I'm gonna be addressing the most common question I have gotten since I built this chicken tractor behind me. And that is, how much did it cost to build this chicken tractor? And more specifically, I'm trying to address in general, how much it's going to cost you. Some variables, but in general, how much it's most likely gonna cost you to build a chicken tractor in 2022. So before I get too far into this video, I do wanna start out, this is a Suscovich style chicken tractor. I did not, come up with the plans for this. I purchased the plans for this chicken tractor, went off of those detailed plans. I will link those below, but I am in no way affiliated with them. With that being said, when you purchase these plans, if you decide to do so, it will talk about the expected cost to build this chicken tractor. I don't know when the book came out, but let me just say, the expected cost via the book versus the actual cost in 2022 is nowhere near each other. It's about double. I think everyone's well aware of kind of the prices in general just being totally inflated right now, and unfortunately we're still seeing that across the board as we get into, I'm filming this in April of 2022, and although I built this first one about a month back, I just purchased the stuff for a second one yesterday, and so these prices are very recent. And so without further ado, I figured I'll go ahead and jump into it. And so I'm gonna address a few things right away. I am not going to factor in the price for a feeder, a waterer, or the pull rope, because it's rope. Be creative there. You can find ways to get rope for free. And then the wheels in which you basically use to drag the chicken tractor. The reason I'm not gonna do it there is I have seen so many people approach that so many different ways that I'm just, the way that I did it, I guess I can give a number for the way that I did it, but I'll hold off on that till the very end. So again, I just purchased all the supplies one time at Lowe's. I didn't do too much shopping around. Lowe's is the only big lumber retailer near me, and so it's super easy to just go there. It's 5 minutes from my house, get everything, and come back. And so in 2022, here's the prices for what I'm looking at. So to build this chicken tractor, I'll start out with the lumber it takes. So to build it, you need a lot of 2x4 material. And actually, you don't need a lot of 2x material. It's, just a couple of different varieties of boards, but it adds up very quickly. So you need 3 2x4x8s, which are gonna run you, here in Oklahoma, $11.48 per 2x4. That's pressure treated. Everything is pressure treated. You're gonna need 3 2x4x10s. That's $13.98 a board. You're gonna need 3 2x4x12s. $17.88 a board right now. Yeah, you heard that right. $17.88 a board. And then you're gonna need 4 1x4x8s, and those are gonna run you about $5.88 per board. So in total, that brings your lumber cost for this build to about $153.54. Unfortunately, there's more to add in. So the roofing on it, there's a couple of different ways. I've seen people use lumber, but right now that would be a more expensive route. I used conduit. That's what the plans call for. I will say the plans actually call for 1/2-inch conduit. I used 3/4 inch because that's the conduit bending tool that I had was for 3/4 inch, and so I didn't want to have to buy a new tool just for this. So it calls for 5 pieces of conduit, and those are running at about $12.28 a piece. So in total, you end up spending on conduit $61.40. Now, putting all this together, it is gonna take screws. I'm not factoring in screws because I had a lot of screws already from other projects, and so to me, you're probably gonna have them around. If you don't, your best case there, you're gonna spend probably around $40. But again, I'm not factoring that in because I already had the screws. So outside of tying the wood together with screws, you have to have a way to add all of your wire, your tarp, your conduit together. And so for that, you're gonna use cable ties. I can't stress this enough. This is the cheapest thing on the list basically, and the thing that you need the most of. However many you think you're gonna need, get more. That's all that I will say. I went with 200 cable ties, and that ran me about $17.96 there. And again, I just got the, I believe it was 7-inch cable ties, had no issues there. Don't need to go too above and beyond with it. After the cable ties, you need the latch for the door piece and the hinges for the door. And so for just a very basic barrel latch, it was $2.98, and then for 2 3-inch hinges, it was $7.96, and that covered both hinges, and the screws come in the package with them. One of the other more expensive pieces of the project is the wire, and one of the reasons this ends up adding up, I cheated here a little bit with the numbers I'm giving to you, because where I'm at, you need about 35 foot of standard chicken wire, and then you need about 35 foot of the like 1/2-inch welded wire. And unfortunately, nowhere around me sold that in 35 foot lengths. They sold in 25 foot lengths, or I believe it was 50 was the next one. And so it's kind of a weird thing when you buy chicken wire. Pretty much the last 10 foot of it is unusable because it is so rolled up and jammed together that you just can't straighten it out. And so the only thing I'll mention there is it probably doesn't hurt to go ahead and get more of it. You will use it at some point. Something's gonna rip, something's gonna corrode. Eventually you will use it. So I would go a little bit above that and get a little more material there. So for chicken wire, again, if you can find 35 foot, it's gonna end up running you around $75. And then for the welded wire, it's gonna run you about $50. So one thing I actually forgot to add on here was the tarp, and I will go ahead and add or mention the tarp that I got. It's about $30. I got one off Amazon because I wanted very specifically a dimension of 10 by 14, and I specifically wanted white, which it actually surprised me how difficult it is to find a white tarp, but I wanted that because I'm thinking of heat throughout the summer. And so in total, everything that I just mentioned, including the tarp, let me do the math because I forgot to add the tarp in. Okay, now that I've added the tarp in 2022, the cost to build a chicken tractor, $402.84. Man, you've gotta love inflation. That's sarcasm. I hate inflation. This is a project, again, you start to go and fill your basket, get the boards. You would not think it would cost $400. But unfortunately, I don't know what else to really say there. It's a project that I knew this was the structure I wanted to go with. And really any kind of coop you're gonna build this year, lumber prices kind of are what they are. I know it's gonna vary a little bit depending on your region. It could be a little bit cheaper, could be a little bit more expensive. But again, that was for here in northeastern Oklahoma and the prices that we are seeing. And so the only things that I might mention a little bit further there is, you know, keep in mind, this is a project you're gonna put together, and hopefully if you're raising your own meat birds or laying hens in it, whatever it may be, you know, you're gonna use this for more than just one summer. And so you can kind of depreciate it out over a couple of years that you will probably get your use out of it. You're doing pressure treated, you're doing galvanized metal, so everything should hold up over time. My guess is the tarp is the one thing that you're probably gonna have to replace more often than not. But yeah, in total for 2022, unfortunately, $400 is what you're looking at to build one of these behind me. And so the only other thing I'm gonna go ahead and add, so you heard me mention the wheels, right? It can kind of vary depending on how you want to approach that. I've got a chick lift. I'll have to run the prices for chick lifts, but I believe that the chick lift original, which is what I have on it, is about $95. So you could add $95. The only thing I will say there, this is how easy this guy is. Ready to move it? Move it. Ready to put it down? Put it down. So it saves you a little bit of headache with efficiency and not having to bend over and pick stuff up. Kind of some of the other methods are basically, you see there's extra 2x4 hanging off here, and you basically put a big bolt through there and put a wheel, and each day pick it up, slide the wheel on. Again, you can probably find some recycled wheels, tires for pretty cheap that you could add on there. And then in the front, I just went with some marine grade rope. Again, that's because it's going to be out here in the weather. I would assume that for the most part you can find that either laying around in your barn, in your garage, or you can find someone that might just have scrap rope that they're throwing away. If you had to buy it, I want to say I got like 50 foot of it for 10 bucks. So not super expensive. One of the cheaper materials required to finish this build. So a super quick video. Again, the main reason I wanted to make this video is I got a couple of questions around this, and in general, I would say, you know, in my opinion, I haven't used this for live birds yet, but so far putting it together, just pulling it around some, I personally think it's worth the money as far as the use I think that I will be able to get out of it. I do wish that lumber prices were down a little bit more. I think in the book it mentions that, I think it was like $220 is what the estimated cost was going to be, and so that's obviously significantly less. But again, unfortunately, all the prices are up right now, and so that is what it cost me to build my chicken tractor in 2022. Hopefully this video helps you guys out if you're about to run to the store, or if you're planning to get started on a chicken tractor this summer, and hopefully it helps you plan a little bit more for your budget. Until next time, see ya.